Don't want to get stuck. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am a recovering alcoholic. I'm still sober. I'm still enjoying each and every single day. I've never met somebody who's ever regretted getting clean and sober. I want to thank my friends for coming out to this past Friday night's Crosstalk meeting. Chris and Drenda, they held down the fort. Joey and I were out on the road, so we weren't there. But I heard that there were some interesting topics discussed at that meeting, and I wish I would have been there. It'd been funny as hell. But I just want to thank everybody for coming out nonetheless and continuing the conversation. We will be doing it again this coming Friday night. I was on Facebook and I was scrolling and I saw this graphic, this image, meme, whatever, of somebody purporting the idea that that recovery is nothing more than brainwashing. There is an element of truth to that, and I talked about this a long time ago. I think it's worth revisiting and recycling, as I'll talk about here in just a minute. Whenever you get clean and sober, you first come into these fake A meetings, you will inevitably hear somebody speak up and say, whenever I came in here, I needed a good brainwashing. It's just, every time I hear that, my brain immediately goes to, this person does not want to have a logical, rational conversation with me about this topic. I don't know if it's due to their inability to have a logical, rational conversation, but it tells me a lot. It tells me what I need to know about that individual. There is an element of truth to it. As I said, we got to think back whenever we were actively drinking and drugging. Well, we didn't make the best decisions in our lives. After all, those decisions we made probably what brought us into recovery in the first place. Those neural pathways that allowed us to make logical, rational decisions, well, they were blocked. There were things in the way. The drugs and the alcohol were in the way. So whenever we get clean and sober, yes, and I'm going to talk about fake A meetings per se, but whenever we start getting clean and sober, we're trying to clear all that shit out. We're trying to wash all that stuff out. And so, yes, there is an element of truth to that. Whenever I came in here, I needed a good brainwashing. The problem becomes who you surround yourself with. And people, when you come into the fake A meetings, they will help you wash your brain to clear out all that old shit, all that old garbage. But then what they start doing is they start trying to push their own stuff into your brain to take up that cleared out space that you've just created in your brain. They start trying to push all this other stuff into your brain. And sure, it gets you clean and sober, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're enjoying your life. When I got clean and sober, I wanted to live and enjoy my life. It's like getting that ugly ass sweater for Christmas from your great Aunt Margaret that you're never going to wear. Yeah, you appreciate the gift, but you're not planning on using it. Why would we want to do that with our sobriety? And what the problem really comes down to is, yes, whenever you wash out your brain, you get clean and sober, you wash out your brain, you get all this other stuff to take up that old space that you freed up. Well, now, all of a sudden, if that stuff doesn't get frequently revisited or recycled, that's going to get old. That's going to get stagnant. And you yourself are going to become old and stagnant in your recovery. So many people tell me all the time, I'm getting kind of stagnant in my recovery. I don't feel like I'm really progressing anymore. And again, as I've said this many times, my first question is, what meetings do you go to? What kind of meetings do you go to? Do you go to the fake A meetings where their goal is to take up all that extra space that's now available in your brain to indoctrinate you? Because if so, those are the meetings, well, hell, that can actually do a lot more damage than good, to be honest with you. And here's what I mean. I know people who get clean and sober, and next thing you know, they're involved in service work, setting up chairs, pouring the coffee, greeting people at the door. That's not service work. That's courtesy work. Service work, just as Bill Wilson, I believe Bill Wilson intended, is going out and helping people change their lives, going out, spending time with them, talking to them, finding out what their dreams are, what they want to achieve in life, and then helping them along the way. That is service work. Everything else, well, hell, that's just a courtesy. I don't want to get stuck, and I don't want to see the newcomer come in, get programmed, get brainwashed, get indoctrinated, and the next thing you know, they spend every waking minute of their life in a fake A meeting. That's not necessarily living to me. A great example we shared last night, Joey shared his story about how he spent 20 years in active addiction thinking he was never going to ever be able to achieve and fulfill his dreams. 2.5 years later, 2.5 years in of doing the next right thing, of struggling, of being challenged and having obstacles to overcome in his recovery, 2.5 years in, hell, he had the time of his life. I got to witness it, and it was pretty awesome. It was pretty special. My point to all this is we don't want to get stuck. If we're not continually recycling and revisiting those things, that new information that gets stuffed into our brain where it got cleared out and we put new information in, if we're not continually revisiting and recycling that, we're going to get stuck in our lives. I don't want to be stuck in my recovery. I don't want to become stagnant and stale. I don't want to become, static, if you will. I want to keep progressing, and we want you to keep progressing too. Find that group of people and let them fill you full of what they know, but be sure to go back and revisit it and clean it out, because sometimes there could be new junk that's taken up that old and available empty space that's in your brain. So with that being said, I'm out of time. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I could not be any more appreciative. If there's a topic you'd like to hear discussed, feel free to message us on the Recovery Classroom Facebook page, or you can comment here on this video. Also, please, if you like the content of the Recovery Classroom Morning Monologues, please feel free to like and share on your own Facebook page and all your other social media channels. We'll be talking again soon, guys. Remember, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.